Is Jesus Christ a divine being or merely a creation? This question has stirred considerable debate among religious scholars, particularly when it comes to the beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses. The crux of the matter revolves around the concept of Christ's deity. It's a conundrum that has kept theologians on their toes. The Watchtower organization, the spiritual home of Jehovah's Witnesses, does not acknowledge the full deity of Jesus Christ. They don't perceive Christ as deity, but as the first creation by Jehovah, a prince among all creatures. This interpretation, however, is not universally accepted and is a subject of intense discussion. To understand this belief, we must delve into history, starting with Dionysius of Alexandria. The seeds of the Jehovah's Witnesses' belief can be traced back to Dionysius of Alexandria and Arius in the 3rd and 4th centuries. These early theologians played a pivotal role in shaping the understanding of Christ's nature. Dionysius of Alexandria, an influential figure in the early Christian church, was known for his theological interpretations that veered towards the idea of a created Christ. His teachings set the stage for Arius, a presbyter in Alexandria who took this concept further. Arius was a strong proponent of the belief that Christ was not co-eternal with the Father, but rather the first and greatest creation of God. His teachings sparked a significant controversy in the early church, now known as the Arian controversy. This controversy revolved around the nature and deity of Christ, with Arius asserting that Christ, though superior to human beings and angels, was not fully divine. These teachings, while deemed heretical by the mainstream church, laid the groundwork for the belief system that would later be adopted by the Jehovah's Witnesses. The idea that Christ was a created being, not fully divine, resonated with their interpretation of biblical texts. This belief would later be picked up by Charles T. Russell, the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses. He further developed the belief of Christ as a creation. He propagated a unique perspective on Christ, asserting that he was the highest of all Jehovah's creatures and the first creation of God. He presented a perspective that, while controversial, gained a following and laid the foundation for the doctrines of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Russell's teachings were not just about Christ's importance, but also about his origins. He depicted Christ as the premier creation, a being of significant standing, yet still a creation of God. This perspective was a departure from the mainstream belief of Christ's eternal existence. Instead, it placed Christ within the realm of the created, albeit at the pinnacle of it. When Russell's baton passed on to J.F. Rutherford, the narrative didn't change. Rutherford, stepping into Russell's shoes, continued to uphold and teach this belief. He echoed Russell's teachings, emphasizing that the beginning of God's creation was the Logos, the divine word. For Rutherford, the Logos was not the eternal Christ, but the first act of God's creative power. This perspective on Christ's nature, initiated by Russell and upheld by Rutherford, has become a cornerstone belief for the Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a belief that contradicts the clear teachings of the Bible and has sparked countless debates over the years. This belief has continued to influence the teachings of modern Jehovah's Witnesses. The echoes of Russell and Rutherford's teachings can still be heard in the doctrines and beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses today, underscoring their lasting impact on this religious group. Today, Jehovah's Witnesses maintain the belief that Jesus was created by Jehovah and is a mere angel, specifically Michael the Archangel. This perspective, propagated by the Watchtower organization, sees Christ as a prince among all other creatures, the first and foremost creation of God. Yet this belief stands in stark contrast to biblical evidence, suggesting that Christ existed eternally as the Word, or the Logos, before the creation of the universe. The book of Genesis, for instance, uses the plural name Elohim to refer to God, hinting at multiple personalities within the Godhead. Yet the singular verb emphasizes the unity of the divine nature in action. The prophet Isaiah refers to the Messianic Son as the everlasting Father, affirming the eternal nature of Christ. Micah, another prophet, prophesies that the goings forth of Jesus are from of old, from everlasting, indicating his eternal existence. This dichotomy between the Jehovah's Witnesses' teachings and the biblical depiction of Christ's nature fuels ongoing discussions and debates. It shows how interpretations can vary dramatically when men or women depart from the clear teaching of Scripture. Thus, the debate over the deity of Christ will continue with those who call themselves Jehovah Witnesses and others who choose to teach man-made opinions that are clearly not taught in Scripture. Though I only mentioned a few scriptures, the biblical evidence of Jesus being deity is overwhelming.